My oaths betray each other till there's nothing left to keep.
Only Us by Miracle of Sound. Alright, and welcome back to episode 17 of Words of Radiance. We are the Shardbreaker podcast, and I am Midnight, your host, and I'm here with Mythic.
Hello.
And Darkness.
That's like 3 times in a row that you say Mythic, by the way.
Did I?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
100%.
I'm sorry, I don't keep track of who I say first.
I'm just
That's
better,
wow.
Darkness. I'm just
Yeah.
better, Darkness.
You know, maybe I shouldn't even be here.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so we did Interlude 13 through to chapter 79 of Words of Radiance this week. I think that was like, what, 5, 6 chapters? Something like that?
At least 2.
Yes, it was definitely at least 2. So yeah, we're going to get straight into Interlude 13, a part to play. We start with Eshonai's point of view as she hears the screams inside her head even when she isn't attuned to the rhythm of peace. She was currently standing on the perfectly circular platform where her soldiers often practiced. The new Stormform listeners were all humming to fury as she separated them into groups. Venli then wanders over to Eshonai, insisting that the Alethi will come. Eshonai feels that Venli hasn't changed much with the new form, and that was wrong. So what do you think about this perfectly circular platform?
So, like, well, it reminds me of the thing that Shalom was talking about.
The Oathgate?
Yeah, but like where they were like, oh, this is where it's at and what it looks like, and there's like the circular stuff.
Do you think they're
That's
like?
kind of, you're right.
Do you think they're training on the Oathgate then?
Maybe, you never know. I mean, what else would they use it for if they can't activate it?
Yeah. Or I mean, they may not even know what it is if it is the Oathgate.
Yeah.
Just a
It's
big
like they use
circular
it like a
platform.
sacrificial altar.
You agree, Mythic? You think it might be the Oathgate?
Yeah, I mean, now, yeah. I don't even remember what I was thinking, what I thought it was before.
Now you're like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, that just makes more sense than whatever I was probably thinking of.
Fair enough. Also, what do you think about the fact that Eshonai hears the screaming even more often now?
Who is Eshonai again?
the girl, the woman person, the
The
one with
Shardbearer Pershendi.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Gotcha. I mean, she's going against nature, so it's probably the same idea. It's probably killing the Spren once they were in balance with Shen or Spren.
What if you're right though? Like, what if like whatever Spren they got right
Mm.
in order to transform, they had to like keep around and like are torturing them for that form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting that she's never heard screaming, it sounds like, in her head before. It's just with this form that she hears screaming.
Yeah, because this one's evil, obviously.
It's a no-no form, yeah.
It's a no-no form.
I mean, even our best boy says the same thing. So
Yeah, Relane's not excited about this form.
I wouldn't see why.
So Venli tries to convince Eshonai to start the storm sooner than later, but Eshonai insists on waiting until the humans are closer, so they don't retreat. Venli then brings up the storm blowing in the opposite direction, which confuses Eshonai, as she doesn't believe the songs mention that, although Venli says they do. However, Venli concedes to waiting for the humans to be closer, although Eshonai thinks that Venli knows something that she isn't telling her. As Venli and her scholars walk away, Eshonai thinks that they seem too comfortable in this form, almost like they've taken it before.
Yep, I agree too. I was like, wait, that makes a lot of sense. It's kind of weird. Why do they seem so, like, knowing? Why do they feel so, they seem like they're all, at home in this form?
Right.
Also, what do you think about Venli saying that the storm that they're going to create is going to blow the opposite direction?
I don't even remember that, to be honest.
Well, they're all going in one direction, right?
Yeah, so the high storms all go east to west, and Venli's saying that they're going to create a high storm, but it's going to blow the wrong direction. And Ashton's like, what do you mean it's going to blow the wrong direction? And Venli's like, or maybe it's the right direction, and it's the other storm's been wrong this whole time. And
Maybe
like,
they're
what
one
the fuck are you
direction
talking
fans.
about?
The One Direction.
Oh my gosh.
Funny though. It's probably gonna blow north to south, or
Mm.
south to north.
Well, I mean, if it's the
I thought-
exact opposite direction, it'd be west to east.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, it's not gonna be the exact opposite. It's gonna be completely different.
It's going to be completely different. Damn.
It's gonna go so different.
It's actually going to go from up to down.
Oh my god.
It's gonna go
blow
in and out.
It's going to flatten everyone to the ground. So that was our short little interlude with Esh and I, and then we get interlude 14, Taravangian, which apparently you guys, or at least Darkness, wasn't super excited about. I love the Taravangian interlude. I think it's.
With darkness,
They
it
were
was just
so exciting.
I find it so fascinating. I don't know. Maybe my little notes here will convince you. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
we switched to.
I feel like it's
Has that worked
less.
before?
I feel like it's just that it's like it covers the same thing in multiple like paragraphs. You know,
Mm,
like it keeps
Over and
coming
over
back
and
to
over
the
again.
same thing.
Yeah. So it's the same thing over and over. Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, I was so smart, and then oh my god, I was so smart. Oh my god, I was dumb this day, but I was so smart.
Yeah.
so we
Are you
switched.
sure you're not smart today and you're just average?
He's just average.
He's like, no, I'm not smart, but I was smart.
Over 100 times smarter than I was on my other smartest day. But yes, we switched to Taravangian's point of view as he wakes up not feeling stupid today. He was feeling stiff and sore today, but his healers insisted it was just his age and not anything they could help him with. He could hear water lapping against the hull of the ship he was on. A servant approaches with a table and a wet cloth while the king's testers wait for him. Mabin then brings his meal, but Morale stops her and says that Taravangian should do his test first. Taravangian thinks that Morale is the one who will decide if he is a king or a prisoner today. 3 Stormwarns then approach with pages that have increasingly difficult mathematical problems that Taravangian had devised on one of his better days. As Taravangian does his tests, he decides that he's fairly average today, not smart nor stupid. Once he has handed over the test to the Stormwarns, they determine that for today he cannot make any binding commentary on the diagram. He may make policy changes in government with a 3-day delay, and he may make judgment in trials. The Stormwarns leave, and Taravangian thinks that although the testing takes up precious time every morning, it's the best solution for him when he wakes up with a different level of intelligence each day, especially when the entire world might depend on his genius. So what did you think about this testing that Taravangian does every morning?
Loki, I thought. Wait, it is blood tests, right? They're blood tests, right?
No, they're mathematical tests.
I thought they were blood tests too. I thought they
Oh.
brought up something about blood tests.
No,
Really?
it's just mathematical problems to determine his intelligence.
Yeah. How intelligent are you today?
The way I would fill all of them.
Yeah, did you guys have any thoughts though on the testing?
I mean, seems kind of arbitrary.
What if? Wait, how does that even work though? Like, what if they just give him a really easy like problem?
Well, no, they have. He says they're problems of increasing difficulty. Like it's like several pages of mathematical questions, starting with super easy to really difficult. And so, depending how many he can complete, depends on how says how intelligent he is that day.
How does that work if you just learn how to do them though? Like, wait, do you not like? Would he not remember how to do them even though he's like dumb now?
I mean, they don't go into exactly what the questions look like. He says that he divides them on one of his really intelligent days. So I'm assuming there's a way to get around that somehow. Or like maybe like when you're less intelligent, you just can't remember things as well. So like he just can't remember how to do the formula.
Interesting.
So Taravangian asks Morale how things are outside, and the man replies that things are horrible, just as they wanted. However, Taravangian tells him not to take pleasure in the suffering of others, especially when it was their work that caused it. The man agrees easily. Taravangian then asks to see the diagram, and Adrotasia brings him a thick leather-bound book. He opens it and sees the copies of scribbles that he had written all over his previous bedroom, madness and genius. Taravangian then comments to Adrotasia, a woman who had been his friend since childhood, that both when he is incredibly smart and incredibly dumb, he is unable to interact with others. When he was too dull-minded, he was not allowed to make policy changes, but when he was too intelligent, he couldn't either, as he had once tried to make a policy where people needed to take an intelligence test before breeding. He then briefly wonders if this is a joke.
I feel
played
like
on
that
him.
should be a thing. Like really.
He briefly wonders if this is a joke played on him by the Night Watcher, or if there is a lesson to be learned. But yeah, so what do you think about the fact that Taravangians can either be both too smart or too stupid or too smart to interact with people?
I honestly feel like this man is onto something, and that we should all follow his lead and make people take a test to fucking breed.
I mean, he goes further later where he's like, oh yeah, one day when I was like, if you're like less than average intelligence, I think you should just commit suicide because it'll be better for society
Yes.
overall.
100% agree. Honestly, kind of want to make a world now that is literally around this man's ideology. Like, it's so fucking nice.
What
Wow.
did you think, Darkness, about Taravangian, how he acts when he's too smart?
He's I know people like that.
Do you?
I actually do.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm one of them.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god.
Says the guy who just said he would fail all of the tests.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's different though.
I don't think it is.
Yes, it is.
It doesn't sound like you're smart enough to be that mean.
It sounds like you need to commit Sudoku.
Oh my gosh. So
Yeah, no, if they took out a math test, it'd be over.
Taravangian then thinks back to the diagram that he had written all over his bedroom, on every available surface he could reach. He had written it in a language he devised, but luckily had written out a key to it at the same time. He pauses briefly on a sketch of a mosaic on the floor of the Vedinar Palace, before closing the book and putting down his food. He then heads off the ship with Moral and Adrotasia, staring at the burning rubble of Vedinar. Moral is in awe of the destruction and how little time it took for it to happen. Taravangian finds himself getting a bit emotional as he sees bodies washed up on the shore, which causes Adrotasia to give him a look, since she doesn't like how emotional he is when he is dull. So what do you think about this, the diagram, and like how it's like this madness and genius that he wrote like all over this room on like every available surface?
Like, this man is onto something.
Clearly.
He just had to write it on. He just had to write it on the walls.
And the ceiling, and a dresser, and a desk, and his bedpost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have you ever seen there's a thing on that. Can't remember there's a show that like where they peel back the like what's it called, wallpaper or whatever of the house, and it's just scrawlings of like what looks like a madman is just writing on the walls. That's what that's what this
Mhm.
reminds me of.
Yeah. So
It
Terry
also reminds me of Dalinar's thing.
Wait, or this.
of his visions.
Didn't we get like confirmation that it was like him writing it, or am I tripping?
Oh,
No,
the
other guy.
countdown.
Mhm.
Dalinar and Avani think that maybe it was Dalinar doing it, but they've never actually seen him or anyone else write the messages on the wall, the countdown.
Hmm.
That was just one of their
Okay.
theories. So Taravangian then asks for news from Carbranth, and Adrotasia mentions that they are getting less and
Sorry. This
Oh,
is what
yeah.
it reminds me of.
yeah,
Yeah. This is this guy.
the crazy guy pointing to all of the fucking papers all over the wall with all the red lines.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah,
That's
so
the
they're
meme.
so they're getting less and less of the death rattles. Taravangian replies that Moloch moves. He briefly wonders about stopping the deaths now, but thinks that even one death rattle could save many lives. He tells Adrotasia to let Dova, an Ardent who had joined them, to continue their work trying to get the death rattles. Adrotasia then pulls out a graph with a curve showing that Taravangian spends most of his days near average intelligence, and both extreme genius and extreme idiocy were rare. Taravangian then asks if the dot farthest to the right was the day he made the diagram, but it was not. It was a day of high intelligence sometime after, when they had already started doing the tests. Taravangian thinks that he could have been 100 times more intelligent on the day he made the diagram than that day. Although on the plotted day he had been smart enough to not be allowed out of his room, since he had wanted everyone of less than average intelligence to commit suicide for the betterment of society, and he believed that he'd be able to talk people into it.
He probably would have. I would have been down with it.
Adrotasia then says that if Taravangian lived for 2,000 years, he would maybe get one day as intelligent as his most intelligent, which is not what Taravangian had wanted to hear, but he knows that what he wants doesn't matter. Taravangian had been hoping for another day of extreme brilliance, as the farther they go from the day the diagram had been made, the more they need to adjust their plans to try and stay on track. So what do you think about how unlikely it is for Taravangian to have another day of extreme genius?
I mean, man, you can't be that smart all the time. I mean,
Wait, so has it been confirmed that he's able to do that?
he's able to
Able
do
to
what?
do what, you mean?
To get another day of like
Yeah, be
Yeah,
rare though.
it's-
his
it's-
original?
Yes, it's extremely low probability, but like Adrotasia has basically said like over 2,000 years you will probably have one more day of brilliance like the diagram, but it could be tomorrow or it could be 2,000 years from now. Like the probability is just that much. Like
Wait,
that
this man, how
percentage.
long does this man live?
Well, no, she's just saying
Holy
if you lived for that long. He wouldn't. But she's saying if you could live for 2,000 years, you'd maybe have one day of brilliance like that, but it could be anywhere within that 2,000 years.
Crazy though. Wait, and who is this person that's talking to him?
Adrotasia is apparently a childhood friend of his who I think is like a scholar or something, who is kind of...
So she's kind of like Dalinar's whatever her woman is. The
Navani?
woman's name is. Yeah. Where she just records all of the stuff for him.
Yeah, except they have an actual friendship and they're not like romantically involved.
You know of.
I'm pretty sure they don't have any sort of romantic interest in each other.
Yeah, well, until I read these or listened to these chapters, I didn't think that Kaladin and what's her nuts had
Shallan.
any romantic involvement. But like, literally, the man is like, I stare at her.
She's
Oh my
gorgeous!
God,
And I'm like, Callum,
I'm
please.
so jealous. I'm so jealous of whatever.
Adolin.
God, why? Like, Like, you didn't want them to be a romantic thing, yet here you are writing like they're a romantic thing. What are you doing, Brandon? You're not helping the ship here, man.
So as they walk out onto the battlefield, which had moved away from the city where the fire had started, Taravangian notes that there had been 7 factions fighting, but the diagram had only guessed that there would be 6. Taravangian wonders if that mattered. He then notes that his healers had been here for a while, helping to tend to the injured soldiers. The soldiers who were left cheered for him, thinking of him as a savior of sorts. Taravangian made sure to talk to several groups of soldiers, as the diagram had noted the importance of being seen as compassionate. Taravangian mentions to Adrotasia that the thrill likely was what caused the men to fight through the night, meaning Ner'Grael was near. However, Taravangian didn't want to track down the evil Spren, as he didn't know what he'd do with it. Instead, he wanted to focus on Molak so they could get more death rattles. So what do you think about the small incorrect guesses in the diagram, such as there being 7 instead of 6 factions in the fight on Bedinar?
So that was like super smart, him making a mistake, or what?
Yeah, so Taravangian basically says he was incredibly smart, but it's not like he could see the future. Like, all of his writings were guesses based on probability and what he knew, which we found out later from Gavilar's visions. So he basically was like, in the diagram on that day, he was like, okay, you need to become king of Yakaved. To do this, you need to like send an assassin to go kill the king, cause a big civil war in Yakaved. There's going to be 7 factions that all fight each other off, and then you're going to be able to come in, take out this one high prince who's going to be kind of in charge because you have a right to the throne, and then you'll be able to take over. So it was an incorrect guess, but Taravangian, I think, has also said in here previously that he's like, I worry that the farther we get away from that day, the less obviously information previous me would have had, so it's going to be less accurate as time goes on, because like when we react on it, like things change, which is why he wants another incredibly intelligent day.
He's out here changing the future.
Mm-hmm. Also, what do you think about this evil Spren Ner'Grael being behind the thrill?
The thrill, right? That got brought up.
Mm-hmm.
They said an evil Spren originated it?
Yeah, Taravangian calls Ner'Grael an evil Spren, and he says that Ner'Grael was basically behind the thrill.
Right. And it always activates when it's like battle, you know.
Yeah, and so Ner'Grael's apparently moving around, which is why the people in Yakaved were like taken in by the thrill. And so if you kind of like think back to the previous books, like Ner'Grael, this like thrill, is one of the reasons why the Alethi are such a war-centered culture, is because like this Spren is basically like has like this radius that influences people, and so it's been hanging out in Alethkar for probably like a few hundred years, because like every Alethi is like, oh yeah, I felt the thrill, because like if you remember like especially in book 1, like Dalinar and Adolin and Sadeas, they're like, oh yeah, the thrill's just a thing, you don't really talk about it, but it's something you feel in battle. And so like that's what's been driving them into all of these, like, not really the Shattered Plains War, but like all of the like little border skirmishes and stuff that they've had that Kaladin was in before he became a slave. Like, those were all driven by the thrill.
The thrill. The thrill of the hunt.
So it's a war Spren.
Yeah, something like that. Seems like it.
Mm-hmm. Also, what do you think
I wonder if...
Oh, go ahead.
Well, if it's able to do all that, then, like, at that point, isn't it, like, just as strong as the night...
What, Radiance?
that other Spren?
The Night Watcher or the Stormfather?
Yeah,
which one are you going for?
The Night Watcher.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it's very powerful if it has, like, this giant, like, countrywide radius that it can affect. Because just like the Night Watcher and the Stormfather, like, it has, like, a specific name. So it seems to be, like, an individual, very powerful Spren.
Yeah.
It's a power Spren.
Also, what do you think about this creature called Molak that's behind the death rattles? That's apparently also moving. So it sounds like, based on, like, the talks about Ner'Grael, it sounds like Molak is also a Spren. One of these very powerful Sprens with a radius. And it's been what causes the death rattles to happen. And so Taravangian has been using these death rattles from Molak to help him with the diagram.
So does that mean the Spren is dying? What's happening?
The Spren's not dying. I think it's just moving. So like Kharbranth isn't like in its radius anymore, or like on the very edges of its radius, which is why they're not getting the death rattles in Kharbranth anymore.
Interesting.
So Taravangian continues to speak to the soldiers. He wishes he could have intelligence and compassion. As he wishes he could have intelligence and compassion at the same time, as he didn't think they were tied in such a way for others as they were for him. The Night Watcher's motives for her boons and curses were unfathomable. Suddenly, though, Zeth shows up, hidden by a cloak, and says he needs to speak to Taravangian. Taravangian pulls Zeth away from the others by the arm, panicking for a moment as he confirms he still has the Oath Stone. although he thinks if Zeth had been here to kill him, he'd already be dead.
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna get killed anyways.
So what do you think about how the way the Night Watcher affected Taravangian makes it so he cannot be both compassionate and intelligent at the same time?
That makes
That's
it,
his weakness.
yeah, that makes it very difficult for him to do the right thing, actually, right?
Compassion is weakness. Well, I mean, God, I'm gonna use my writing I've been doing last fucking week, but it's the same idea as like a very concise and like focused thought of like you take the emotion away from what would like incorporate your thoughts and your actions, and when you take the emotion away, everything kind of just becomes more centered on the actual belief that what you're doing is correct, that no matter what, sure, millions of people will die, but the world will be a better place. And so you kind of, when you take away the emotion, you're kind of almost creating a world of just pure truth, I guess is the best way to put it. Where nothing really is ever chaotic or erratic anymore because nobody is, thinking with their heart instead of their minds.
Everyone's relying on pure logic.
hmm Which, I mean, it's not a great world to live in, but I feel like some people need to kind of push to that point. Some people need to go to that. Stop thinking with their hearts and more with their brains.
You were saying that you think it's a weakness for him to not be able to be compassionate when he's smart.
Mm-hmm. Simply because, like, he kind of proves it when he's like, oh, the smart me was doing all this shit, but I feel bad about it, like, right now.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that's like not how I feel like I want society to work, even if it's like the most optimal.
Right.
Sounds like a machine. No emotions, just pure logic.
Also, were you surprised to see Zeth show up here?
Yes.
I do. Yeah.
We hadn't seen him in a while, so I was like,
Apparently he's done pouting at Urithiru.
Yeah, and then this man talked to him, and he just immediately was like, "Yep, you're right. You're totally right." I'm like, "What the?"
I mean, Zeth isn't the most stable of a person.
Oh,
He's
but
like,
come on, man! You watched the thing that's gonna break this weirdness on you. You watched it. You were right. Why are you gonna let this man tell you you're wrong?
Yep, he just
Also
accepts
loved
what his
that
master
Caravangian or
says.
whatever. Yeah, I also loved the fact that he got caught. He got so caught up on it when Seth said he. Like he said it so many times. They said he. They said he. They said he. I'm like, bro,
He's like, I only
yes.
know of potential female surge binders. Who's this
Yeah.
man?
Right. I mean, hey, he in his average intelligence figured it out, kinda. So.
Yeah, and Addertasia's like, I think you're smarter than we thought. And he's like, no, you're just underestimating the average person, Addertasia.
No, exactly. She sounds like a fucking computer, to be honest.
I feel like Addertasia is very similar to Yasna. Like they're like these like very smart people, and they're just like they underestimate the average person quite a bit. But yeah, so Zeth tells Taravangian that he fought a surge binder, and Taravangian instantly thinks that he must have met Yasna, and that she must have faked her death. He also knows that there is no.
I agree.
He also knows that there is actual emotion in Zeth's voice, which is strange. However, Zeth then mentions that the surge binder was male, and that confuses Taravangian. He lies about one of the remaining 7 honor blades in Shinovar having gone missing, that this must be what the man had. Zeth says he never saw a blade, but Taravangian insists that it was the only reason the man could have used Stormlight. Zeth suggests getting the honor blade, but Taravangian tells him to go and kill Dalinar, but only when the man with the honor blade is not around. Zeth then leaves. So what do you think about Taravangian convincing Seth that Kaladin has an honor blade? Which is exactly how Esh and I and like Venli were like, oh, maybe Kaladin's not a surge binder, maybe he just has an honor blade. Everyone just assumes he has an honor blade.
Hey, he can't be this thing that everybody believes is.
maybe he's meant to have one.
I mean, he is. He literally defeated her brother. He should have got that blade.
Well, that's not an honor blade.
Well, that's a
just normal
Shardbreaker.
I know, but he should have got that blade. So, of course, he needs an honor blade. I just think that Scylla is an honor blade. She's just gonna show up as a spear in his hand one day.
That would be interesting.
Also, what do you think about the Shin having 7 of the honor blades? And also the fact that they only have 7. Because we know where 2 of them are. We know that Zeth has one, and we know that Talon had one with him. But that's one missing, because there's supposed to be 10 honor blades.
Okay, I'm not that surprised though, because I'm pretty sure I was like already tying that together.
Mhm.
I just didn't have all this stuff though.
But where do you think this last honor blade is? Do we think we know who has it? Like, do you think it's been seen at all, or do you think we haven't seen it yet?
Wait. Who has which ones?
So
Because we know the Shin have 7, right?
the Shin have 7. They technically had 8, but one was given to Zeth.
Right.
And technically there was 9 out in the world, because when you go back to Damnation, like Talon did, you take your honor blade with you. So Talon always had his. So there should have been 9 left behind after the heralds like abandoned the Oath Pact. However, the Shin only had 8, so that's 1 missing.
So like Shalon's.
That's what I
Maybe.
was thinking.
Could be. We don't know which one it is. All we know is it sounds like we know that it's definitely not Talon's, as I said, and we know that
Doesn't it have like regrowth?
well, no. Teravangian makes up a lie that one of the ones with regrowth must have been taken, which means that it's likely that the Shin have both of the ones with regrowth. So they would have both the Truth Watcher and the Edge Dancer blades, for sure. So neither of those are the ones missing. So the Lightweaver one could be the one missing, which would be the one that Shalon would have if she does
Shalon
have the
has.
Honor Blade.
Mm-hmm.
So that is possible.
Does that amplify it, or does it even do anything? I'm pretty sure it amplifies. It should amplify.
So we know that basically it gives you the power of the Radiant without a Spren. We do not.
Right, but if you have it already, though.
Yeah, but we don't know what would happen if a Surge Binder with those powers already has it, because we've only seen Zeth and Talon with their Honor Blades, and we've only really seen Zeth use an Honor Blade, and he doesn't have a Spren, so he wouldn't be amplified.
I'm gonna say in my head it amplifies it.
Yeah, it's very possible. Do you agree with it? Do you think Shalon has that Honor Blade, or do you think it's somewhere else?
I mean, I still think so. I think Shalon has an honor blade, so that would be the other one.
Yeah, that would be the
But-
only other one that's missing.
Oh, but so this is the person saying this, right? How do they have like actual knowledge that the other 7 are where he says they are?
So it sounds like Teravangian and Zeth both know for sure that the Shin have 8 of the Honor Blades. Teravangian's lied here, saying that they only have 7 because one went missing apparently, but he's just lying to like confuse Zeth, so that he doesn't know that there's a Surge Binder around. So it's confirmed that at least since I'm assuming at least since as far as Zeth knows, at least since he was made truthless, they had 8, and then he had 1.
But
sorry.
Teravangian knows
Yeah, that's right.
that they have, like, it's a certain fact that they have these blades. There's no question that maybe they lost more than just one.
It sounds like Teravangian's pretty sure that there's only one that's unaccounted for. As far as we're aware, there's only this one that's unaccounted for, which could be Shalon's.
And they said what about it? It was something about.
Well, he just said that he's lied to Zeth, saying that there's another one that's maybe missing. And he's like, oh, because the guy healed, maybe he has one of like the regrowth honor blades.
That's it. At that point, he's definitely lying.
I mean, Zeth at least should know that like you can heal with or without a blade that has regrowth. But either way, I think Zeth kind of believes that like, oh yeah, he must have somehow gotten a hold of.
Well, he
one
wants
honor
to
blades the
believe
Shin
it,
have.
considering that if he doesn't, that means that everything he's done is for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So he wants to believe it. So he's like, oh yeah, that makes the most sense. I can do this because I have an honor blade. Obviously, he can do it because he's somehow gotten a hold of an honor blade. And Zeth, I don't think, has saw any of Kaladin's powers except for the fact that he was able to heal from the Shardblade wound. So he doesn't know what blade Kaladin could potentially have if he had an honor blade. He's just like, oh, he can use Stormlight, but I don't know what powers he has, so he could have any of them.
Yeah, no. The only thought that I can think of would be that Shalon has it. Just don't know why she has it. If she has it.
Mm-hmm. That would be the question: is why would she have it?
It was wait, how old is Zeth?
I think Zeth is like in his 30s.
Oh, okay.
He's like in his early 30s or something like that. So Teravangian and Adrotagia get chairs and eventually a tent as Teravangian asks to review the diagram to try to figure out who the Surge Binder is. Adrotagia guesses at Shalon as they had thought that she had been trained by either Yasna or her brother. He briefly mentions that what he asked the Night Watcher for was capacity, the capacity to save humanity. So, what do you think about the fact that they were like, Shalon was either trained by Yasna or her brother?
Wait, did her brother have like a blade or whatever?
So what they're implying here is that Hellerin was a Surge Binder.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So that was probably his greater purpose that he left their house for.
Okay, but the thing is, like, if he was a Surge Binder, how did Kaladin get him?
The same way Kaladin wins in almost every fight.
Yeah, but the thing is, he hasn't really, gone against Surge Binders like that.
Wait, what?
Like, I get fighting a Shardblade, but a Surgebinder, somebody who's aware of what's happening.
Yeah, so we don't know how far along he was. He might have been very, like, not very far along and not
Early.
fully known
But the thing
what he
is,
was
if somebody
doing,
else
or...
knows about it, then he's far along enough.
Yeah, we don't really get a lot of information here, just that it sounds like Hellerin was a Surgebinder of some sort. We don't know what order or anything like that, but they think that he was probably a Surgebinder.
I call bullshit until they fucking tell me how the fuck Kaladin beat him.
So I have a question.
Mhm.
More like a hypothetical, like thing because I did it last time and I'm gonna do it again because I
Yep.
thought about it. What if Zeth had Nightblood?
Oh wow.
I feel
That
like
would be crazy.
no one would ever be able to stop him ever.
I don't know what would what would happen? Would Nightblood?
I feel like Nightblood
consume
would
him?
influence him too much.
I don't feel like that would be good for Seth. That is too easily influenced.
Yeah. What if Nightblood's like, ooh, I'm your god?
He's like, let's go kill some evil. Everyone is evil.
Unsheath me. Unsheath me.
Like, okay.
Unsheath me. Yeah. Oh
This
god.
completely destroys the whole planet.
You're truthless already. You got nothing to lose.
I don't know if that would go well. That does not sound like a good combination.
What if? Hear me out.
Mm.
What if Syl wields Nightblood?
Ah,
I don't know. Would she just get consumed? Because she's just pure invincible. He
Yeah.
might just
Can
consume
you
her.
imagine? Oh, that's great. I want to see that.
Also, what do you
Do we
think
get
about...
more information about Zeth? Like, do we get a whole story on Zeth?
Yeah, we get bits and pieces. We get more information, yeah, later on.
Okay, because I would love to read or listen to a book all dedicated on Zeth and his life.
Death is life.
Also, what do you think about Taravangian's request of the Night Watcher to have the capacity to save humanity?
Say that again.
So Taravangian apparently went to the Night Watcher, and his request of the Night Watcher, what he requested as his boon, was the capacity to save humanity. And what she gave him was this thing where his intelligence would vary every day, and he would either be extremely intelligent or extremely compassionate, or like somewhere in between. And that apparently gives him the capacity to save humanity.
That makes me wonder what the rules for asking for whatever they want, you know.
But so wait, this is the person that take something as well as give something, right? Like
Yes.
That's who the Night Watcher was or whatever.
Yes. So you go to the Night Watcher, you request something, and she'll give it to you along with a curse of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
So his curse is to be
stupid.
dumb and smart and dumb and smart, dumb and smart.
Yeah, so I'm assuming because he asked for the capacity to save humanity, which seems to be his really high intelligent days, like days when he can make the diagram, and he believes that this diagram is what's going to save humanity, which is why he's following it. But in his curse is that some days, although some days he's incredibly intelligent to do this, some days he's also incredibly stupid, although he's also incredibly compassionate at the same time, and he feels guilty every day knowing what he's doing with the diagram in order to save humanity.
Gotcha. Okay.
What was the question?
It was just what did you think of his request of the Night Watcher? Like the fact that he went to the Night Watcher and said, "I want the capacity to save humanity."
Right. That just makes me wonder what the rules are for whatever it is you're asking for. Because why not just go to him and be like, "I want humanity to be safe."
I think it has to be something that affects you personally, which is why he asked for the capacity to save humanity.
Does humanity not being safe not affect you personally? Like, what?
Well, no, because that's kind of more like potentially an outside thing. I think you have to ask for I want this to happen to me. Either this attribute, this object, this something. I want this thing, and then I think it has to be something like that, which is why he specifically asked for instead of just saying, I want humanity safe from the Voidbringers or whatever, he says, I want the capacity to save humanity.
Okay, why would he say capacity? Why not just, I want to save humanity? Because at that point, it's assured.
I don't know. That's how he worded it. I'm assuming he had, reasons behind it. I'm assuming he, researched the Night Watcher. We don't know a whole lot about her and how she works.
Right.
I mean, he may have also asked for that, and then she said, no, you need to ask for something more about yourself.
Right, that's why I was
so maybe
I want to know the rules to what it takes to ask something for something, you know?
Yeah, so we don't know how the conversation went down. She could have been like, no, you need to specify more about yourself in the request or something, and he had to reword it.
Well, I want to be the baddest bitch to save this world.
Yeah, it just kind of makes me wonder what Dalinar asked for.
Mm-hmm.
Probably to do with his vision thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's the side effect, right? What was the
Wait, but the
desire?
thing is, if that's the side effect, then his brother had it too, and his brother went to it and asked for essentially the same thing.
Unless Dalinar specifically went and said, I want to
not
understand what
mad.
my brother was trying to tell me. And that's why he
Yeah.
got the visions.
I'm assuming the side effect is not the visions, and the side effect is his losing his
It, it,
wife's thing.
it definitely seems like he believes that his curse from whatever his boon was losing the memories of his wife. Because he tells, I think, Ranran and Navani at one point, he's like, I know what both my curse and my boon were.
The thing is, it could be either or, though. Like, what if he just didn't want to chill with the wife anymore?
Actually, that reminds me, I think he specifically tells them that his visions are not linked to his Night Watcher thing.
Right. Okay.
So
I gotcha.
he specifically has told them, I know that these visions are not related. I know exactly what my curse and my boon are. Just don't worry about it. I don't want to go into the Night Watcher stuff further. It's kind of
Well, he's gonna have to, for my sake, not
for
his.
your sake.
My sake.
So Taravangian finds a small note in the diagram that states they cannot stop the return of Surge Binders, and to keep an eye out for those who survive when they shouldn't. Taravangian is sure it must be one of the bridgemen that Dalinar took in from Sadeas, and states to get their people in the Shard Plains to look for rumors of one of the bridgemen surviving miraculously. Adrotagia asks what they'll do when they find out who the Surgebinder is, and Taravangian just says they need to keep Szeth away from him. Because Taravangian knows, he's like, if Szeth knows about Surgebinders, he's gonna have he's gonna probably kill me or something. Like, he's not gonna obey me anymore. So just keep Szeth as far away from him as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Taravangian then heads to see the dying High Prince, now king for the moment. When Taravangian goes in to see him, the man already seems to know that Taravangian wants to take over Yakaved, and knows that Taravangian has a claim to the throne as one of his ancestors married a woman from Vedenar, a couple generations ago. Taravangian states he's just going by the script, as he claims to not know about the claim to the throne. Valinor claims loudly that he makes Taravangian his heir, although he's surprised to hear that all the other High Princes are dead. Valinor asks his bastard son, Redin, to stab him through the chest instead of getting poisoned by Taravangian. So what do you think about Taravangian trying to take over Yakaved?
I mean, it's part of his plan.
Yeah.
So, like, go for it.
What do you think about Mythic, about Taravangian coming to take over Yakaved?
I mean, I think this man is abundantly brilliant, yet stupid at the same time.
That is.
I mean,
fact.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
true.
like, even in his wisest day, he's still stupid. But just because, like, I don't know, he's following what he believes is true, which is what every villain in like any story ever does.
That's what Amaram's doing. That's what Sadeas is doing. That's what
what
Szeth is
every
doing.
hero does too. The fuck.
Yeah, exactly. And it's literally like, this is the biggest issue in my opinion with that people in like D&D, for instance, fall upon is at some point the heroes of whatever the story is create what they or do what they think is right, and whether that impacts the world in a negative or positive light, kind of thing. But like, no matter what, everybody believes they're doing the right thing.
Well, I think
Yeah,
also that's I think also that's what Brandon kind of has set it up in a lot of his villains in this book, is that
They're doing the right thing.
they're going against the heroes and it seems like they're doing wrong, but in their world they are doing the correct thing. Like Sadeas believes that Dalinar is ruining Alethkar and he's doing right by Gavilar to take down Dalinar and take over. That's what Sadeas believes, that is the best thing for their kingdom, is for him to take over because Dalinar is weak and going crazy. And Amaram thinks that what he did to Kaladin was the right thing, because we find out later, he's like, the Voidbringers are returning, I need proper trained men to wield shard blades. What I did was needed. It was the best thing at the time. And that's what Taravangian is doing here too. He's like, I'm making civil wars, causing all these people to like die, but it's for the greater good because I'm going to save humanity.
Why would you say villains? I see no villains. These are just people with goals.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they're all evil. Kill them all.
So Redin doesn't want to, but eventually he does stab Valim through the chest. Valim dies as Redin leaves the tent hastily. Taravangian notes that Redin killing Valim will make it difficult for Redin if he wants to make a play for the throne. Taravangian is also surprised to hear Valim let out a death rattle. So the night will reign, the choice of honor is life. What do you think this death rattle may mean?
Oh, the same as all the other ones. Bunch of fucking nonsense.
Repeat it.
So the night will reign, for the choice of honor is life.
Does that mean Honor's coming back?
Don't know.
Possible. Everything's possible in this, though.
It is possible.
Or it could be. Oh, what if it's talking about Kaladin? And how you know how we were talking about how he's actually gonna like save that motherfucker instead of let him die and stuff.
Elokar?
Yeah, like what is that's because essentially he called him he gets called Child of Honor, right?
Yeah. The
Armored-
Stormfather
yeah.
calls him Child of Honor, Child of Tanavast, which is just basically saying Child of Honor twice.
Right. So what if that's just talking about him making that choice?
Maybe?
And then once he makes that choice, Syl gets brought back.
Maybe. We'll find out.
I don't know what the night part is though. What if he has to go see the night thingy?
The Night
his
Watcher?
friend? Yeah.
The Night
And
Watcher
then,
is
like-
very far away.
Okay, but like, what if that's the only way to bring back Syl though?
Maybe. Maybe he saves Elokar and then goes to see the Night Watcher.
There's no way, but like, that'd be cool.
Have to travel across like 3/4 of the continent or something.
For
Get
powers,
there.
it's worth it.
So, a Shardblade falls beside the dead king. Taravangian then asks for a moment alone, thinking about how Gavilar had told him 6 years ago about his visions, and how they told him to unite the nations. Taravangian thinks that he is trying his best and apologizes for having to kill his brother. What do you think about Gavilar having confided in Taravangian about his visions?
Wait. Who confided in him? His brother,
Gavilar.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the one
his
that got
brother.
killed.
Yeah. Okay. Names are hard.
Yeah.
They all sound the same too.
Seem very similar to each other. But he confided in Dalinar, so that makes sense why Dalinar.
No,
What?
Taravangian.
Oh, see, okay, that's why I was
Gavilar
confused.
confided in Taravangian about his visions, apparently.
So,
Like
He
the
con-
night
wait.
that he died or something. He,
So
like, wrote to him.
Dalinar's brother, right?
okay.
Had visions
He
apparently
confided in
before
Taravangian.
Dalinar.
Yeah.
And he told
But he
Taravangian.
confided in the man who was basically killing him.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure, because I think Taravangian says that he wrote the diagram only like 2 or 3 years ago. I think Gavilar having these visions and then dying is what prompted Taravangian to go see the Night Watcher.
Oh, so you're saying this was before?
I think
Right.
Gavilar was friends with Taravangian, it sounds like. They're both like kings. And so he
Right.
told Taravangian, hey, I'm having these visions, I need to do this task. And Taravangian is like, oh shit, that sounds important. And then Gavilar fucking dies to the Parshendi, and Taravangian's like, I don't know what to do about this information I have. And then he goes to the Night Watcher to be like, I want the capacity to save humanity.
Yep. Okay, that makes sense now.
And then
All right.
a couple of years later, he writes the diagram.
Yeah. That okay. I
I'm
don't know
pretty
why I
sure.
was thinking-
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it happened.
Was it? But wait, didn't he just? God, wasn't there a thing? Am I like misremembering something here? Where he didn't go to Gavilar. Who did he go to? He went to somebody, and he was like talking to them, and they were like, and then they got stabbed.
But he was talking to the High Prince here because he was gonna the High Prince who was
Yeah,
gonna of Yakoved.
That's who it is. Okay.
Yeah, but
That's
the
why
guy
I'm
dies
confused.
and
I thought
everything.
he killed Gavilar. I'm like, the fuck? I thought that was
No.
what's her.
No, I think you're getting confused here because at the end, Taravangian says he apologizes to Gavilar for having to kill Dalinar.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry that I'm gonna
yeah.
have to kill your brother, Gavilar, but I need to do this to like make sure that what you told me about comes true. Like, I need to unite the nations and save the world.
Every time you say that shit, I think of the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we get chapter 76, the first chapter of part 5, which is called Winds of Light. And the chapter is called The Hidden Blade, which I love this reveal. It's such a good chapter.
It's not.
And so the epigraph
Sorry.
is, and we get
It's
epigraphs from the diagram now, which makes me happy. I love hearing about the diagram. The diagram is so interesting to me. So
To you.
the epigraph is, they will come, you cannot stop their oaths. Look for those who survive when they should not. That pattern will be your clue. From the diagram,
Pattern.
Coda of the northwest bottom corner, paragraph 3.
It's pattern. He's the key to everything. Yay! We figured it out. Okay.
Well, it's not wrong considering that he knows exactly what Shalon needs and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I think of all of the spread, which we've only met a few, but that we've met, I think pattern is probably the smartest.
I love pattern. Pattern's my
I
favorite.
know
spread.
things, but I can't tell you these things because I don't actually remember them. But I know them.
I mean, that's the same with Syl.
I'm gonna.
No, Syl doesn't know. Syl is like, I don't think you should do that. That's not right. I like this person. Pattern is like, I know these
You should
things.
compliment
This is how you should do so. Yeah, exactly. You should compliment me. Yeah, exactly.
And then pattern being like, those aren't patterns. What do you mean? These are symmetrical words. This is
And
not
then he's
a
like,
pattern."
hmm.
Lies.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I love
save
that.
my picks for Spren until I meet whichever one's supposed to be for my
Yours.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Do we get to
Is
meet
that-
at Span of each order?
Yes, we will get to meet
Eventually?
a front of each order
Okay, cool.
eventually. Yeah.
That's good. Because eventually they're all going to come together and, save the world, right? So,
Gotta
with
unite
power
them.
of friendship.
or destroy it.
So we switch
Whoopee.
to Kaladin's point of view as he thinks about the Stormfather telling him that he killed Syl. He can't sleep and thinks it's too quiet, as most of the bridgemen besides a small group from Bridge 4 had gone with Dalinar. The small group was left to guard the king. Kaladin was to rest and heal. He walks out of the barracks and Lopen is there, asking if he needs anything. Kaladin replies that he wants to watch the army leave. Lopen asks why Kaladin doesn't heal himself, and Kaladin replies that he can't anymore, as Syl is gone. Lopen suggests getting Syl a small hat as a present so that she'll come back. As they reach an area where they can see the armies forming up, Kaladin is in awe. He tells Lopen that this is what he imagined war to be like as a young boy. He thinks that he had learned that war wasn't about glory, but about pain and slaughter, but seeing this allowed him to dream again for a moment. Dalinar was joined by a single High Prince, Royan, but Lopen points out a second High Prince and his army coming over to meet with them. Kaladin suggests going to find Bridge 4 to see them off. Were you going to say, Mythic?
Said just a moment. That's all. He just for a moment he figured that out. Yep. Mhm.
But yeah, what did you think about Kaladin seeing what he thought a truly glorious army was like when looking out at Dalinar and Royan readying to fight the Parshendi?
Well, I was thinking that's truly what a slaughterhouse is going to look like.
Yeah, when the storm hits them all and they all die. Yep.
We switched
Fortunate.
A storm of fire.
Storm or something.
We switch to Dalinar's point of view as he is shocked to see Sabarial's army joining his. Dalinar and Royan ride past Shallan and Adolin, as well as past Renarin, who is with the bridgemen. Amram suddenly shows up, also shocked that Sabarial is here. Amram suggests sending Sabarial away as he is untrustworthy. That's fucking Amram. But Dalinar replies that Sabarial is trustworthy. They then reach Sabarial, who just seems happy to have surprised Dalinar. Pelona is also with him, which Sabarial mentions that she had insisted on coming. He states that he feels like it's important to be near Dalinar and whatever he is going to be doing. He also insults Royan a bit before mentioning he's happy to have gotten here before Aladar. Dalinar is again shocked as he sees Aladar's forces coming to join them. So what do you think about Sabarial joining Dalinar to fight the Parshendi, even though he
You know what
never
the funniest
fought?
thing of that whole thing is? Not even
What?
that dude joining them. It's the fact that Amram was like, nah, they're like not trustworthy, and then not even that much later, he gets called the fuck out right in front of everyone.
It's like half an hour
exactly.
later at most.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
He's like, you can't trust Sabarial. It'll be much better if we just go off, you and Royan and me.
totally.
In my head, Sabarial's just like drinking tea, watching it happen.
It's probably drinking
Yeah, just like,
wine, not even tea.
Mine is so good.
Drinking wine, being fed grapes, as him and Pelona like sit in their carriage watching all the drama.
Did you say Paloma?
Pelona, his
Oh.
wife.
Pelona,
or his
like,
mistress. What?
That's what it means in Spanish.
Yeah, Paloma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Well, it's
Pelona.
not Paloma, it's Pelona.
It's totally Paloma.
If it's with like an N, it's bald. If it's with an N, it's bald.
They're bald.
Her name means bald.
Okay.
They're probably a bald person.
So we switch to Sadeas' point of view as Eli suggests a coup as they ride around the hills to check on the expansions Sabarial had been making with his farmland. Eli continues on, saying that with Dalinar out of the plains, they could seize the palace and execute the king to take over. Sadeas thinks he would do it, but he doesn't need to. They also mention Eli's assassin briefly, who had apparently failed. A messenger then appears, and Eli reads the message briefly before telling Sadeas he isn't going to like what it says. What do you think about Eli being like, yeah, we should just start a coup and execute Elhokar?
That's valid. Also, no, that's dead as valid. That's probably what they should have done.
Sadeas is like, nah, I don't need to do that.
Thaddeus needs to listen to his wife.
What do you think, Mythic?
His plans are not working.
What was the question again?
What do you
one
think
sec,
about
what was
Eli
the
wanting to
question?
start a coup?
Who is Eli? Which one was
Sadeas'
Eli?
wife.
Why do I not remember this at all?
This is
It was a
girl-
very
this is the
short
woman
little
that-
POV from Sadeas and his wife here.
And Sadeas is the guy that they called out in the arena place, right?
Yeah,
So-
Sadeas is the one that abandoned Dalinar on the Shattered Plains.
Yeah, but that Adolin
Yeah, Adolin
called
called him
out.
out, yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. Okay. I mean, sounds like this woman knows, or this woman's a little more conniving than he is.
She's just smart. He doesn't know what he's doing.
So we switch back to Dalinar's point of view as he goes up to Aladar to find out why he, Sadeas' biggest supporter, was out here with him. Aladar replies that seeing the two biggest cowards join Dalinar to complete the Vengeance Pact while he stayed back wasn't an option, that the other High Princes were likely better at lying to themselves than he was. Dalinar asks Aladar to promise he isn't here to do something for Sadeas, and Aladar promises after stating that he thinks Dalinar is naive, but wishes Dalinar's ideals were true. Dalinar then mentions Aladar leaving his parchment behind, and Aladar doesn't understand why really, but he agrees. Aladar then tells Dalinar that he isn't an honorable man, and Dalinar replies that he isn't either, but they'll have to do. So what do you think about Sadeas's biggest supporter joining Dalinar?
What a twist!
As soon as they said that, I was like, oh my god, please tell me they give us a POV of like Sadie is angry and all that.
So Amram then approaches Dalinar again, commenting that his trust is coming cheaply, and that would be even more glorious if they defeated the Parshendi on their own. Dalinar replies that would be vain glory before noticing Kaladin and insisting that Amram follow him over to Kaladin so they can put the rumors to rest. So what were your first thoughts when Dalinar said that he was going to put the rumors to rest about Amram?
That well, I mean, until the very end when he finally actually does say what he says, I was 100% with Kaladin that he was pretty much like, untrustworthy and not actually listening to what Kaladin had to say.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, they definitely make it seem like, oh yeah, Dalinar's still siding with Amram. He's gonna go make Kaladin apologize publicly.
yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, the fuck are you doing, dude?
And then it's like,
we all know
nope, get fucked, Amram.
No?
I love it.
I like that he actually, though, was like, I also did research. I didn't just believe Kaladin. I went and used Kaladin's
yeah, because Kaladin has like literally
reputation.
no witnesses. It's his word against Amram's. Yeah. And Dalinar's like, I trust both of you, so I'll do a test to see if Amram's trustworthy or not.
Okay, but personally, if I was Kaladin in that situation, the way they played out, I would have still been so fucking pissed.
I don't know, I think
Because first of all, I got jail time. And second of all, he's got a pad in the back, like, off with his head, bro. Like, he literally took off, like, all my, like, squad mates. Like, what?
Exactly.
I mean, as Dalinar says, they can't really, like, jail him because he's a Shardblade.
Granted.
Then kill him and take his Shardblade.
Yeah, granted, right? I can understand Amaram's point once when he starts explaining, right? Mm-hmm. Of like, yes, was it wrong that I killed all of these people for my end goal? Sure. But what makes it any different than what you are literally doing right now, Dalinar?
Yeah.
You are literally doing the same thing, and you are a hypocrite, in my opinion. And when he basically stated that, I was like, not wrong. Like, I understand the frustration that Kaladin might feel in the actions that were taken. However, what has Amaram done since then that would benefit or harm the world, in general? Like, is it better? Was it better for him to have taken it? What do you mean fighting with Sadeas? I thought that was...
They've had their moments.
Amram's mostly on Sadeas' side. He kind of says, like...
Yeah, that's what
like, we have our reasons for getting along. Because, like, Amram's whole thing is, like, I want you and Dalinar and Sadeas to get along and fight together.
Exactly.
And Dalinar's like, yeah, that ain't happening. So we switch back to Kaladin's point of view as he stands with Bridge 4, noticing Shallan riding next to Adolin, noting how beautiful she is. He can't hate Adolin for holding her attention, though, as he likes Adolin, and thinks that they fit well together. Although maybe he can hate that. Kaladin then notes...
Kaladin, stop with the bullshit, man.
Kaladin
stop
then
being...
Kaladin then notes Renarin nearby, although still awkward, and thinks he needs to talk to him about his epilepsy again sometime. The men then ask Kaladin why he is here, and and how he'd be mad at any of them for walking on a hurt leg. Kaladin is also surprised that Rock is going on the assault, but Rock replies that they will need him to cook for them, so they aren't left to the army cooks.
I was hoping Rock was gonna stay.
Yeah, no. Lopin, Dabbit, and Hobber, I believe, are staying, along with Moash and whoever Moash kept.
Wait, is Amaram still going with them?
They don't really tell us by the end of this chapter if Amaram's gonna follow with them or not. It sounded like Amaram was gonna go, and now Dalinar's gonna call him out.
If Amaram goes, I think that's a good. Then Rock needs to be there because I think Rock's gonna kill Amaram.
So, oh wow,
that's my belief. Okay, I think that the man who states that he doesn't, attack or to fight or whatever is going to be the person who actually fights. Yeah.
So suddenly the bridgemen part as Dalinar and Amram approach. Kaladin does his best to keep his face emotionless as he stares down Amram. Dalinar comments on how Kaladin should be resting, and Kaladin replies that his men have already mentioned that. He then suddenly realizes that Teft and Scar are here, wanting to leave with Dalinar. And then Teft mentions that he left their best man in charge of the king. Kaladin feels cold as he realizes Moash, along with a team of his choosing, have been left behind to watch the king. So what did you think about Moash being left in charge of Elhokar?
I mean, it's just story relevant. Of course Moash has to be the one to be there, because Moash is the one that's going to try to kill him.
Teft was like, I'm doing such a good job as leader. I'm leaving Moash in charge because he's a shard bearer. And Kaladin's like, oh no. This is the
Yeah.
worst choice.
Yeah, but I mean, didn't Kaladin also make him the Shardbearer?
He
So-
did, and he's also not told anyone about what Moash has been doing,
Yeah,
so it's kind of his own
exactly.
fault.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So
What did you think, Darkness, about Moash being left in charge?
That was a great decision.
I mean, it is because I feel like, like I said, I think Kaladin staying behind kind of helps with that. So even though Kaladin's hurt, I think he's gonna confront him. It'll probably be in the room with where it happens, but he's gonna confront him, and then Scylla's gonna realize that he's worthy and come back to him.
Nah, I don't think so.
No,
Imagine.
So Dalinar then turns to Amram and asks if he has seen Kaladin before, or knows anything about his claims of Amram's shards. Amram insists that he doesn't. Dalinar then insists on an apology, and Kaladin wonders if he's going to be publicly humiliated. As he goes to speak, Dalinar says that the apology isn't to come from Kaladin. Amram is shocked, and Dalinar mentions that he had a trusted servant bring a madman with a shard blade to the Shattered Plains. Amram pales and brings a hand to his side, and Kaladin thinks that he's summoning his shard blade. Dalinar says they hid a blade in a cave, and his servant gave rumors of this blade that were supposedly from the madman. Dalinar then summons a shard blade, pointed at Amram's throat a second before Amram's shard blade forms in his hand. Dalinar states that he thought if Kaladin's accusations of Amram were true, then he'd also be willing to lie about another shard blade. Dalinar admits that he bonded the blade before hiding it, during the week he was supposedly ill. Amram then stands tall and states that he would do it again, as the Voidbringers are coming and they need trained Shardbearers to fight them. Kaladin is shocked to realize that Amram really believes this, as he apologizes to Kaladin for killing his men, even though he states it was for the greater good. So what did you think about Dalinar creating this plan to prove whether Amram was trustworthy or not?
I did not expect it, but it was well needed for sure.
Did you say, Darkness?
It's about time.
About time, yeah.
Also, what do you think about the fact that Brandon specifically stopped giving us Dalinar POVs for a while to hide Dalinar's plan? Because I mentioned a couple times, I'm like, oh, we haven't seen some of Dalinar's POVs for a while. Maybe it's just because he was sick.
Wow, totally.
But the whole time he was... Darkness just muted himself. The whole time Dalinar was just hiding this... He was bonding to the shard blade and then hiding it.
Yeah. Wait, which Shardblade did he bond to?
I believe it's a just random shard blade, and they hid it in the cave.
Was it really?
Yeah, because I believe it's specifically not Talon's honor blade.
Huh. Okay. I thought it was, but okay.
I was wondering that briefly, but I'm pretty sure it's not, because otherwise I think Dalinar would have realized that he could suck in Stormlight and stuff.
Well, I doubt you're gonna realize immediately.
I don't.
And he also said it feels wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah, he said specifically that. Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that in a second.
I'm saying he's got that Shardblade.
Mm.
That honor blade.
Mm.
Think he has it?
So Dalinar then lets Amram go, as you can't imprison a Shardbearer, as he'll just cut his way out. Dalinar tells Kaladin that he'll try him once they return. Kaladin thanks Dalinar for believing him, and Dalinar tells Kaladin that he does listen sometimes, and to go get some rest. Kaladin
Yeah, I listen sometimes,
Kaladin tells Dalinar to be safe, and Dalinar replies he will, as he now has a Shardblade again, even though it for some reason feels wrong to have it. So yeah, what did you think about Dalinar saying it feels wrong to hold a Shardblade?
Kind of makes sense with what Darkness said, but I feel like it's because he still feels bound to the other blade that he had, even though he's not.
What do you think, Darkness?
I think it's the honor blade.
You think it just feels wrong because it's a different, it has different powers?
Darkness is gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. What's up?
I said, so you think it just feels wrong because it has powers, whereas his previous one didn't?
Yeah.
So we switch back to Sadeas' POV as he watches from a distance Aladar's banner join Dalinar's. Sadeas says that all 4 of those High Princes can die out there for all he cares. However, Eli quietly says she wonders what the future will bring them. Sadeas says it'll just bring them new High Princes, and to make a list of the most loyal of his High Lords to replace those 4 High Princes once they die to the Barshendi. So why do you think Eli suddenly became so contemplative?
Alright, I'm good.
Okay.
Are you though? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm fully good now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so what did you think about how Eli kind of got quiet and contemplative there at the end?
What did she say? Or what was the situation?
She's kind of worried about the future, it sounds like, as they see Aladar joining Dalinar, and Sadeas is kind of angry and just
right.
I'm just gonna replace all of them once they die.
Well, at that point, she's like, fuck, did I choose the wrong bitch? Because he's not listening.
You're not wrong. He's not listening, for sure.
And then we get chapter 77, Trust. And first of all, we get a picture of White Spines, which are some interesting looking creatures.
White spines.
Yeah.
Huh.
Are those the ones that? No, those are those are big.
These are the guys that this is the guy
Wait,
that
no, that's right. Ain't that the thing that stabbed that one dude?
yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, their like tusks are like they're apparently very aggressive and their tusks like stab through
They're
people.
kind of cute though.
Are they?
Kind of.
Yeah, I found when I saw it, I was like, I want one of those.
It's interesting.
You don't find it cute?
No.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't find it cute.
Wow.
That is like,
It's pretty ugly.
is there something wrong with
Wow.
it?
I think something's wrong with her for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So we get our
Hey,
next
adorable. Look at this chubby little cheeks. Ooh.
we get our next epigraph, which is one danger in deploying such a potent weapon will be the potential encouragement of those exploring the Nahal bond. Care must be taken to avoid placing these subjects in situations of powerful stress, unless you accept the consequences of their potential investiture. From the diagram, floorboard 27, paragraph 6. So what do you think this referenced weapon is?
Wait. What episode? What chapter is this?
This is chapter
Number.
77.
What was the question again?
What do you think the referenced weapon is? So it says, one danger in deploying such a potent weapon will be the potential encouragement of those exploring the Nahal bond. Care must be taken to avoid placing these subjects in situations of powerful stress unless you accept the consequences of their potential investiture.
That is on the creation of Shardblades. It has to be.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Okay. Give me thoughts, Mythic.
No, but my head's thinking the theories now. I don't know. Darkness could be right. It could be the creation of a shard blade. But
I need some milk.
you know what? Same.
So we move to Shalon. We move to Shalon's point of view as she watches the armies begin to march onto the Shattered Plains. Vatha and his men are with her, although she hasn't seen Gad, and she worries about where he is and whether it has to do with his debts. Adolin rides up to her on Sureblood, and Shalon thinks it's unfair that she was given a much smaller and slower horse to ride. They joke a bit, but Adolin doesn't send back quips like Kaladin does. But she thinks that that's fine, as she likes Adolin the way he is. Adolin...
These fucking teenage people, man.
Adolin then insists that Shalon ride with Sabariel in a carriage sometimes, so she doesn't get too sore from riding the horse. So yeah, what do you think about Shalon comparing
Oh my
Adolin and
god,
Kaladin?
no! You stopped it. You stopped it right when I was gonna say. Oh.
Oh no, what were you gonna say?
She's like probably being sore.
Oh, yeah, I mean, she's like, I don't
"Yeah, so you don't get
understand.
sore." And she goes, I don't get what? What do you mean? Why would I get sore? Woman, you've never ridden a horse before.
Yeah, he's like, oh my god, you definitely need. He's like, you're riding for like an hour and then going to sit in the carriage.
Yep, I was like, but what I thought was hilarious was like, I was thinking about it and I was like, well, maybe she has ridden a horse before. She's never been sore because she's always had this
Stormlight.
power that makes her so she's, heals and it just kind of heals the soreness. Like,
Yeah, because she says
I don't
later, like,
know.
it was a little uncomfortable, but I'm not sore.
exactly. I'm like,
How do surge
But I like-
binders? Can surge binders be poisoned?
I don't think so. I think you can get rid of the poison with Stormlight.
Okay, cool.
yeah, but I mean, I thought it was funny because he's like caught her in a lie. This is like, are you sure you've ridden a horse before? Like, she's like, yeah, a pony in a circle.
When she
Like,
said
my
that
dad's
shit,
garden.
Oh my god.
when she said that shit, I pictured her like how she is now riding a pony.
Yeah, right? It's just
Uh,
hilarious.
So suddenly, a man with an eye patch runs across the plateau to her, earning glares from Adolin's bridgemen guards. Gads hurries over to her with a package, stating it had finally arrived, and she owed the merchant 2 sapphire bromes. Shalon is confused until she opens the package to reveal a worn copy of Words of Radiance. Shalon excitedly praises Gads for being able to obtain a copy of it for her, and he beams with pride. Vatha just rolls his eyes and mutters under his breath. So were you surprised to see Gads show up with a copy of Words of Radiance for her?
Yes.
I mean, yes.
I'm honestly surprised Gaz agreed to go out knowing that Bridge 4 was gonna be there.
I'm honestly surprised Gaz is still alive, okay?
Gaz still hanging around.
Me too. I forgot about him, Loki.
He's just
I'm
hanging out.
surprised this man's alive, man.
He's apparently been working hard to get her a copy of Words of Radiance that she's wanted.
Apparently, very hard. Working
He
real
must get
hard
paid
on
good.
it.
I imagine that the thing Vasa muttered under his breath was like kiss ass or something.
Yeah, right? Like,
He's like,
goddamn.
really? So we move forward in time a couple days with Shalon riding alone in a carriage, making notes as she reads through Words of Radiance. She doesn't even let her lady's maid into her carriage so that she can speak freely with Pattern. The book mentions something wicked that caused the recreance, but didn't give specifics. It also had a chapter on every order of the Knights Radiance, although some of it was rumors and hearsay as it was written 200 years after the recreance. Shallan notes that each order has different types of oaths and that some orders are individualistic and some have a hierarchy. Pattern luckily was pretty good about figuring out what was true and what was rumors when she read them out loud to him, even though his memory was still a bit spotty. Rain began to fall, meaning the weeping had officially started. She reviews maps of Stormseat and of the Shattered Plains, trying to figure out reference points to find out how large the city had been and about where the Oathgate would be. So what do you think about Shallan trying to get some more research done while traveling across the Shattered Plains?
Nerd.
Nerd. Oh man, I thought it was funnier because the way that I imagined it, right, was she's on this horse. Gav runs up to her. I found this book, and she immediately, after just talking with Adolin about how she was gonna ride the entire time and yada yada, she's just like, "Yep, nope, I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna get in this carriage now and go ahead and read this book." Like,
give me this carriage. I need papers. I need books. I need notes.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, okay. Also, what happened to her horse?
I'm assuming someone's just like having it ride. Someone else is riding it, or they're just like walking it as they march with the army.
Yeah.
They
Because somebody else is riding that pony.
Probably one of the Ardents or Scholars or something. So suddenly her carriage comes to a stop, and Navani asks to join her, Dalinar holding an umbrella for the woman. Shallan quickly moves her papers to make room for the woman and wonders if Navani likes her now, and whether she is technically going to be Shallan's mother-in-law, even though Dalinar would never be allowed to marry her. Navani asks to see Shallan's notes, and Shallan reluctantly hands them over, after wondering if there was anything that would give away her powers or her relation to Vale. As Navani reviews Shallan's notes, noting how she organizes like an artist, she states that she isn't going to steal the project from Shallan, as Shallan's worries are clear on her face. Navani then asks if Yasna thought this transportation gate was important, and Shallan says it was, which makes Navani reply that she should have moved past her grief and spoken to Shallan much sooner. The two of them then joke a bit about how Yasna wasn't the most compassionate person, and that she acted like a 30-year-old from the time she was a small child. So what do you think about Navani kind of getting on board finally with Shallan's project?
All these people like putting their stuff, like putting it off till the last second,
Right?
and it's so stressing.
I mean, at least she admits that she should have gone into this sooner.
You think if like, never mind, let me not do that.
Okay. So Navani then notes that she has some scholars that could help Shallan try to find reference points to overlay Stormseat in the Shattered Plains. She also mentions making copies of all of Shallan's notes so that they don't lose any information to the Rain. When she asks for Shallan's direction, Shallan happily agrees to making the notes. Shallan then eagerly begins giving orders to Navani about measuring plateaus, finding references to a mural that may still be around, and looking into how to open the Oathgate. Navani agrees, and Shallan then admits to Navani that Yasna was a Surgebinder, and that was one of the reasons she had wanted to get to Earth Thiru so badly. Navani finds this concerning, as humanity was supposed to have won the war against the Voidbringers, and thus these powers should have been in the past. So what did you think about Shallan revealing that Yasna was a Surgebinder?
The whole time she was spilling the beans, all I could hear in my head is Mythic screaming.
Because I was too. When it happened, I was like, "Girl, swear to God, if I was in this world, I'd strangle you." Why can't
that wasn't even her secret too? Like,
why can't you keep a fucking secret, woman?
Yasna's dead. She's like, we might as well tell.
Yasna's not dead.
No, Pattern is. Oh God, I hate the fact that the two of them are so different. Pattern wants her to like tell lies, truthful lies, and yet she's out here telling the goddamn truth. Woman, how are you? I don't understand how she hasn't lost her abilities.
It's because she's lying, or she's telling the truth about outside things more. It's the lie thing is
I
all
know
about
what
like.
it is. I know, but we've already explained that. But like, I feel like, oh, this should if what Kaladin did was enough to like get Syl to like leave or whatever, right? Why is what she's doing not enough for her to lose her goddamn
She's
ability?
doing nothing anywhere near what Kaladin did.
I mean,
She's not going against her oaths.
Did Kaladin really go against his oath? He made promises.
He made he made conflicting oaths to two different people that he can't like agree to both.
But he can. He did. He can protect the king and help Moash at the same time.
That's
Well,
that's valid because
If he can, he hasn't figured that out yet.
no, but the thing is like all he like promised was a chance.
Exactly. So, and what I'm saying is, right, that I mean, this is my thought, right, is that it's not as much the Spren that is like, oh, I'm leaving, right? It is the person who made the oaths who is conflicting themselves.
Yeah, it's more about the internal conflict.
Exactly. And so, because Shallan is over here basically lying to herself that she still is in good faith with her oaths, which I don't fucking believe, in my opinion, because she shouldn't be telling all of these truths to people. Like, why, woman?
Well, again, the only thing that would start to get Shalon to regress in her oaths and her abilities would be if she
Her
starts lying
lying
to
about
herself about her past. Yeah. Like if she starts like repressing memories again.
Yeah, instead, let's just tell everybody.
Yeah. If she started going around telling people, I did not kill my father, that would probably be an issue.
But what if her thought actually is that she didn't kill her father?
Then she's lying to herself, and that's going to
Is
be
she,
a
though?
conflict.
She didn't kill her father. The poison killed him.
She strangled him to death.
No, the poison killed him. I didn't kill him.
Well, the thing is, he wouldn't have been able to get strangled if the poison wasn't there.
I mean, she fed him the poison.
But who gave her the poison?
It doesn't matter. She
No.
gave him the poison.
Semantics. No, semantics. See, who gave her the poison? Because that's the person who's ultimately
Yeah,
to blame for
that's
himself.
right. Matter of fact, the father killed himself for being an asshole.
Exactly. Perfect.
So we switch to Kaladin's point of view as he lays in the darkness, feeling depressed because of the gloomy weather of the weeping. He thinks about Syl, but is interrupted by Moash coming to see him. Moash is eager to talk about how perfect it was to be left in charge of Elhokar while Dalinar was out to fight the Parshendi. Kaladin asks when they're going to go after Elhokar, and Moash replies that they're going to wait until Dalinar is closer to the Parshendi or already engaged with them, so that he can't turn back. He continues to explain how they'll pretend the assassin in white have returned, having all the servants hide so that no one sees or gets hurt, and then kill the king and blame it on the assassin. It'll be perfect. What do you think about the plan to kill Elhokar and blame it on Zeth?
Who's that?
Funny.
He's like, Kaladin, you don't have to do anything. It's great. We're in the perfect position.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything. All right. Here's where I would have made the oath. All right, I won't do anything to help you kill the king, and then I'd show up and fight him to protect the king.
That's valid.
Hey, my thing was not to help you. I didn't say I wouldn't help him.
So Moash then asks about Kaladin's powers, because apparently Lopen told him they weren't around anymore. Kaladin's like, God damn it, Lopen.
Why can people in this book not keep a goddamn secret?
And Kaladin lies that he offended Syl somehow, and that was why she had left him. Moash says they'll need to fix that or get Kaladin his own shards. Because, oh yeah, you know how much Kaladin wants fucking shards, Moash.
No, I mean, here's the thing. It's a good thing he doesn't have pattern because he is lying about his past.
Kaladin briefly mentions that he thinks Syl didn't like the plan to assassinate the king and quotes Amram about killing for the greater good. Moash agrees with the quote before saying it was different when Kaladin reveals it was a quote from Amram. Kaladin states that Moash is also a Light Eyes, but agrees he isn't going to do anything, as he thinks he can't while injured and without Stormlight. Moash then briefly mentions the king wanting to see Kaladin, but that he'll tell the king that Kaladin is too injured to go see him. He also mentions Elhokar getting into the wine a lot more without Dalinar around. So what do you think about Kaladin relating Moash to Amram?
He's turning into him, so.
Also, what do you think Elhokar wanted to talk to Kaladin about?
I have a feeling that he's gonna say something so stupid.
Wait, real quick. We haven't already seen that meeting?
No.
Why do I feel like I have?
Oh no.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, shit, did I read past? No, because I definitely didn't, because I'm looking at my Audible, it says 80, and I haven't got a single second on it yet.
The next chapter is not the meeting from the... Oh wait, I think the next
It's-
chapter has the meeting.
Okay, well, I feel like we've already read it, but maybe not. Maybe I had a
Well,
fever
the
dream.
the
here.
next chapter does have it, so did you read by accident chapter 80?
My Audible shows me not.
Okay.
So, well, I'm gonna do that, and I can take a picture right now for you if you like. No, it's okay. I'm sorry. It's not 0 seconds. It's 0009. So is it in the first 9
No,
seconds
it's
of
not
80?
it's not.
It would be the fucking wing. No, so I don't know. Weird.
Alright, but yeah, what do you guys think Elhokar wants to talk about?
A marriage proposal? That would be crazy. Nah, I'm just-
1 second. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay.
I'll answer that question in a second.
What if he got wind of like what's happening with his assassination attempt?
Oh, you think maybe he knows that like Moash and the others are gonna go after him? He's like, Kaladin, I need you in my room. Please save me.
I need you in my bed, please.
Oh
Say-
God.
What are you saying? Oh God, for? That's like valid.
Is it?
Yeah. If I had a man that can strongly, defend me, I would have him in my bed too. That's the safest place.
Okay.
Alright, you bet.
So, yeah, I'm back. All right. So, the thing is, this is why I'm I don't know, fever dream. I think he's going to call Kaladin there now that Dalinar's not there. He's gonna ask him to come to his whatever, like fucking room of the throne room or whatever the fuck wherever he's at,
Mhm.
and tell Kaladin that he believes Kaladin should be killed. That
Oh, damn.
the
Okay.
only reason that he didn't was because of Dalinar, and if Dalinar doesn't make it back, he's gonna, he's basically gonna tell Kaladin he's gonna kill him.
Mm.
And then I think I remember correctly from what like fever dream here thing, because I swear to God I didn't read any further, but like I feel like I remember them already having this meeting. He says something to him about being asking Kaladin what he thinks of him, and I feel like Kaladin's gonna tell him the goddamn truth because everybody in this fucking book tells everybody the truth. He's gonna tell him he fucking thinks he's this terrible fucking thing, and that Kaladin wants to kill him or some shit. And then in this meeting, Moash shows up with probably other fucking people, or just Moash. Either way, probably just Moash because Moash has a shard blade. So he's gonna show up to kill the king. Kaladin's already gonna be there, and somewhere along the lines, Kaladin confronts Moash, causing Syl to come back to Kaladin to protect the king. Kind of thing. That's maybe the weirdest part is that like I didn't go to sleep after reading this because I literally read this from 12 till right before the podcast, so I couldn't have dreamt this up. Okay, that's what I think is gonna happen when he goes to talk to the king or whatever. So
Okay.
something like that. I feel like I'm missing pieces, but maybe not.
All right. We're gonna move on to chapter 78 then. Contradictions.
No.
Oh yeah, wonderful.
And the epigraph is, but they were left behind. It is obvious from the nature of the bond. But where? Set off. Obvious. Realization like apricity. They are with the shin. We must find one. Can we make to use a truthless? Can we craft a weapon? From the diagram, floor 17, paragraph 2. Every second letter starting with the first. So what do you think he's talking about here?
Say it again.
But they were left behind. It is obvious from the nature of the bond. But where? Set off. Obvious. Realization like apricity. They are with the shin. We must find one. Can we make to use a truthless? Can we craft a weapon?
So and I feel like they're talking about creating a shard blade, but I'm wondering if maybe.
They made Seth into what he is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm getting.
You think
Right.
somehow Taravangian caused Zeth to
Had a
become
hand in it,
truthless?
yeah.
But the thing is, though, we know that Zeth became truthless before the diagram was written. Because Zeth became truthless before Gavilar's death, because he was going around with people before he ever became the assassin in white. And the diagram was written after Gavilar's death.
Wonder
You
if
could just say no. You know that, right? Not
No, she has to explain why it's a no before she says no.
I'm wondering if, they're partially obviously talking about using a truthless for some reason, but I'm wondering if they're also talking about the honor blades, because they say they are with the shin, and they were left behind, which reminds me of how Taravangian was like, oh, the shin have basically all the honor blades.
Except the one.
Well, except for Towns, and except for the one with Zeth, and then except for the one missing. They have 7 of them right now.
Wait, what was the first one you said?
Towns, the guy, the one herald that didn't leave his his honor blade behind.
Oh yeah. That guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he brought his honor blade with him to damnation.
To damnation.
To damnation, to hold back the desolations.
Yeah.
no.
So much that's helping.
Well, he's back, so he held off for 4,500 years. That's pretty good.
Nah. Don't change.
So we switch back to Shallan's point of view. She sits in a pavilion while drawing a picture of Yasna, as she had been just before her death, not from a memory, but from her own imagination. She was trying to do that more to help with her illusions. Creation Spren slowly faded from around her as she finished the drawing, and Pattern mentions that he doesn't much like Creation Spren, as they don't have a purpose. She goes on about an artist that...
That's so funny.
These Creation Spren are so useless. So Shallan then goes on about an artist who had worked by only red light, and how at first it made it difficult to work correctly, but eventually her mind had compensated for the light. Pattern replies that humans are able to lie to themselves, and that is what makes them so wonderful. So what do you think about Shallan trying to work on her drawings outside of her memory drawings?
Definitely needs some creativity so she can make these wonderful illusions. So it'll only help her.
Do you agree, Dirkness?
What's the question?
What do you think about Shallan trying to work on her her drawings via imagination instead of from her memories.
She's preparing herself to have a little Kaladin moment.
Oh gosh. So Dalinar then arrives, and Shallan gets her guards to leave them alone. He mentions how Shallan has taken over all of his scribes, and then asks about Yasna being a Surgebinder. Shallan begins to speak nervously, but then confidently says that Yasna proved that she was a Surgebinder. Dalinar admits that he felt he needed to refound the Knights Radiant, but maybe they were refounding themselves and he was just being meddlesome. He then goes to leave, and Shallan thinks that she can't be like Yasna and hide her powers. She needs to tell someone. Shallan tells Dalinar that maybe he wasn't supposed to refound the Knights Radiant, but gather them. She then breathes in Stormlight and creates a small illusion of Yasna. Dalinar is shocked, and an Osprey appears as tears gather in his eyes. He asks if Yasna taught her this, and she replies that she stumbled into it on her own, but that she felt like she was drawn to Yasna so that she could be taught more. Dalinar wants to give her the golden cape he had gotten for Amaram, but Shallan does not want others to know about her abilities. Their conversation is cut short, though, by a messenger coming to mention Parshendi had been spotted.
When she stated to him in such a direct manner, you will not tell people.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, girl.
Also,
Where's this the whole
she
time?
doesn't want people to know. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Right? Would have surprised me. She just tells everybody everything. So
Yeah, you guys were surprised that she revealed her powers to Dalinar?
yes, no, I'm not surprised. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
At this
surprised.
point.
Yes,
Yeah.
no.
all she does. I'm just surprised that the dumbass does this stupid shit all the time. I'm not surprised she did it. I knew she was gonna fucking tell somebody. It was gonna be him or some other Joe Schmo somewhere. I'm sure.
So Dalinar races out, and Shallan runs after him. Dalinar tells her this could be dangerous, but she replies that her Stormlight will heal her, so she's probably the most invincible in this camp.
Hilarious.
She also mentions that Stormlight was how she survived the fall in the chasms, and she thinks that she rescued Kaladin somehow as well. Dalinar then asks about soul casting, and Shallan replies that she can do it, but hasn't practiced much. Dalinar then agrees to not tell anyone, except for Navani, about her, and swear Navani to secrecy. Dalinar states that Yasna wanting Shallan to marry Adolin made much more sense now. Dalinar then tries to tell Shallan that she'll need to be sent back to the war camps, but Shallan insists that Dalinar is not her king or high prince, so she will stay here and work on her mission to find Erethiru. She also tells him...
She says you're not my king. She wouldn't even have listened to the king in the first place.
Probably not.
Like, okay.
She also tells him that he won't tell Navani about her powers unless she gives the okay. Dalinar agrees, stating he sees a lot of Yasna in her. Batha and his men, as well as Bridge 4, were nearby as they approached the people surrounding the Parshendi corpse.
Yeah, she also took that as a compliment, which is funny.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I'm like Yasna? Nice.
The person I idolized for like a long time, and then actually gave me a chance, and then supposedly, to my knowledge, died, even though she really didn't die. Yeah.
But yeah, so what did you think about Shallan insisting that Dalinar not even tell Navani about her powers?
Well, because Navani fucking can't keep her mouth shut, and her shit seems to go missing constantly. So, like, at least that was a good spot on her record of not telling people kind of thing. Like, this woman notes somehow got out to a bunch of people. So, really, like, doesn't seem like the most trustworthy person to me.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Eli was behind that somehow.
Yes. However, you have notes that could potentially create an issue for Dalinar, so you do what? Lock them away in a very easily gotten spot? Like, come on.
Yeah, you get her.
So
Not a very smart person.
They get to one of Dalinar's scouts, Basham, who tells Dalinar that the Parshendi had shown up and that they had taken one down, but the guys fighting them had been killed. They are then shown a storm-formed Parshendi corpse, and Basham mentions that some of the men that fought them had burns. Dalinar thinks that maybe they started sending their versions of Light Eyes out to fight now that their numbers are dwindling. Shallan is surprised to hear that they're a subspecies of Parshendi. When she opens the closed eyelids of the dead Parshendi, she screams when she sees red eyes. Dalinar insists that red eyes were just legends, but Shallan replies that Yasna had many notes on it, and that means the Voidbringers have returned. So what do you think a storm-formed Parshendi was doing so close to the army?
I was thinking about that, and honestly, I can't figure it out because it's not like it's scouts.
I mean, it might be because they turned everyone into Stormform, but like it seemed like they were specifically trying not to let the humans know about Stormform.
Were they trying to not let the humans know about Stormform, or were they trying not to let the humans know about the ability of creating storms?
I think both.
Because it'd be like kind of hard not to know about Stormform. Well, I mean, I guess unless you walk up and are like Shallan and just start telling people about Stormform. they're just going to look at this and be like, oh, it's another form that I've never seen before. They're not going to know what the form it is.
So they then get word of a Parshendi alive nearby, sitting on a rock. Dalinar and Shallan move to head towards the Parshendi, and Vatha tries to tell Shallan that it's dangerous, but she insists that she will be fine. When they arrive, the Parshendi recognize some of the Bridgemen, and the Bridgemen rush over to greet him. After a few moments, they tell Dalinar that it's Shen, their Parchman Bridgeman, and that he wants to surrender to Dalinar.
The prodigal son has returned!
So yeah, what do you think about Rlain returning and
I love
surrendering to
I love
Dalinar?
him.
Who the fuck is Rlain?
It's Shen. It's Shen's real name.
Oh, no, it's not. His name is Shen.
No, his name is Rlain.
No.
All I have to say is he's going to be a pivotal part in defeating these Stormform bastards.
I love Rlain. I was like, yay, Rlain's back.
Also, who killed the other Parshendi? Has that been said? Like,
It was just some of their random soldiers, it sounded like. It wasn't anyone important.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it wasn't Rlain. Got it.
Yeah, no, they said specifically it was some of their soldiers and that they got burns. It sounds like Rlain showed up like after the fight with those Parshendi. He was kind of like, hey, I'm just gonna sit here. I'm not fighting. Please don't hurt me.
I still hold allegiances with you all
would
on
like-
your own.
I would like to submit to you
He's
sexually.
like, oh my god, my friend. What?
Wow.
No, he was like, my friends are here. Hi. Here's
Mhm.
Kaladin. We bonded.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
They're like, yeah,
You would almost think-
Kaladin's not
I'm
here.
surprised you didn't ask about
Yeah.
him immediately.
I feel like he probably did because it sounds like he spent some time with the Bridgemen. Like the Bridgemen were talking to him for a while after they like first meet up with him here. So I'm assuming he talked. They all talked about it. Just we didn't
Yeah,
get
it was just
like
in
a
Dalinar's point of view, so.
yeah. We just neither Dalinar nor Shallan would have been kind of listening in on that conversation, so we didn't get it. And then we get our final chapter, chapter 79, Toward the Center. Our epigraph is question: for what essential must we strive? Answer: the essential of preservation, to shelter a seed of humanity through the coming storm. Question: what cost must we bear? Answer: the cost is irrelevant. Mankind must survive. Our burden is that of the species, and all other considerations are but dust by comparison. From the diagram, Catechism of the Back of the Flowered Painting, paragraph 1. What do you think about the goal to preserve a seed of humanity no matter the cost?
I mean, that's like the belief most people have, to be honest. At least most bad guys in most fictional stories.
What do you think, Darkness?
I'm wondering if, so, I don't even know whose goals are what anymore.
So basically, it sounds like Taravangian knows because of Gavilar that a desolation's coming. He's like, shit's happening. Desolations are going to be coming back. Gavilar was seeing all these like visions to like unite everyone to prevent for the upcoming desolation. And so he's like, oh shit, Gavilar's dead. We don't have the information from like these visions anymore. So I've got to like go to the Night Watcher to get these powers. Gets the powers in the diagram. He's like, his whole thing with the diagram is, how do we survive the desolation? We need to at least preserve a small amount of humanity because the desolation is coming. So his whole thing
Right,
is,
but the thing at that
the big
point
bad
is
guy's
that,
coming. I need to do what I can to save who I can.
Yeah, but the thing at that point is that Gavilar, or whatever his name is, right, was the catalyst for this even happening.
Well, we don't know what Gavilar believed based on the visions, because it sounds like he might have been interpreting them a little bit differently than Dalinar, and like he may have had more or less information. We don't know. And we don't know what he told Taravangian specifically about his visions. He might have said, this is happening no matter what. We need to do something to help save humanity. And this is how Taravangian's like, I don't have these visions, I don't have these abilities, but I can maybe save a small section of humanity through the desolation. So Taravangian is basically saying, the ends justify the means. There's this big bad evil coming. I need to do what I can to have the best outcome in the end.
You justify the means, so at least in his perspective. Isn't it a lot like that? There's a conundrum, or whatever it is, whatever it's called. Yeah, the trolley theory or whatever. Like,
Oh, the trolley problem? Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the word I'm looking for. The trolley problem. All right. Where like if you hit the lever, one person dies. You hit the other lever, whatever. That whole idea that like no matter what you do, it's something bad is gonna happen. But does that one bad thing is it worth what the end goal could mean? So like murder Kaladin's platoon, get a sword that could then maybe help me do better and better the society. Like, are their lives worth that kind of thing?
Mhm.
Murder a bunch of crab people, make the world better. Would it really make the world better? Probably not.
So we switch to Dalinar's point of view as he waits inside a tent. Navani and Adolin join him, mentioning that Rlain is being brought to them as well. It was the day after they had found the dead Stormform Proshendi, and Dalinar had gotten them to continue marching after there were no attacks that night. Taleb then enters with Rlain, Scar, and Rock also following after him. Shallan had wanted to attend this meeting, but Dalinar had promised to have everything said written down for her. Dalinar has Rlain sit down and begins asking him questions. Rlain admits he was a spy for 3 years and that he doesn't know about the Proshendi's current plans. He mentions how he's worried about the changes he has seen in Eshonai and that he thinks all of his friends and family have been replaced by monsters. Rlain also tells Dalinar about how the Proshendi can change forms and that Dullform is similar enough to how the Parshmen look, so it was easy to blend in. Rlain then goes on to say that their gods, the souls of their ancients, hate the humans and the new form they have given to his people is going to bring something terrible. Dalinar asks for Rlain to help them get to the Parshendi city, but Rlain worries about the elderly and the children and those who watch the children. Dalinar promises that he won't let any harm come to non-combatants, but that they need to stop the Parshendi that have taken on this new form. Rlain agrees, and Dalinar tells him to go work with Shallan on a map to the city. He also says that Rlain can be given over to Bridge 4 again and no longer be a prisoner. So what do you think about Rlain coming to help Dalinar fight the get to the Parshendi and fight them?
I wonder if he's like actually trained in fighting.
Yeah, we don't know because he's been a spy for so long. We don't know. I mean, he's obviously done some training with Kaladin and his men because remember they trained him on the spear.
Right, but I meant like previous training.
Yeah, we don't know if he was just trained to be a spy from the start and so they never gave him military training, or if he had some military training and then they're like, actually, we need more spies. Can you go do this? Once Rlain had left, Navani asks if Dalinar believes Rlain, and Dalinar replies that he might not, but that he can tell something really did shake the man. He then asks about the countdown, and Navani replies that there are 3 days left, and that the countdown ends 3 days before Light Day. Dalinar replied that they need to hasten their pace to the center of the Shattered Plains. So what do you think about Dalinar choosing to trust Rlain's fears?
Crazy how he believes him, but you don't believe Kaladin. No, I'm sure. I'm surprised how easily he did believe him, though.
Were you surprised that Dalinar trusted Rlain, Mythic?
No, not really, because he seems pretty not Rlain. I mean, my bias of Rlain is that he seems very trustworthy, but I feel like he's already been in this whole he's been a part of Bridge 4 for so long that I don't think Dalinar would ever have like a real reason to distrust him. Like he hasn't done anything to them specifically. The only thing it is that he's a parchment or whatever the singer, So like that's the only thing. So like I had no thought that Dalinar wasn't gonna trust him. I thought Shallan was gonna definitely bring up much more of a issue. Be like, no, we can't do this. I told you specifically, we can't have blah blah.
Well, maybe we will next episode see a bunch more of her being like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently they gotta work together to do the maps now.
What if Shin's up with Shen?
Ew, no.
What do you mean, ew?
No, because Shen, because then she'll start telling all of Shen's secrets, or
Oh, you're right.
No.
Actually, this is how the sexual anatomy of Shen works.
As much, as disgusting as it sounds, I would rather her be with Kaladin.
Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. That tells you how much disdain I have for that thought.
Honestly, I feel like Shallan needs to work on herself before she works on a relationship.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
She doesn't have a choice.
Stuff she needs to go through. Anyways, our overview questions. First of all, do you think Sadeas is going to do anything while Dalinar is away from the war camps?
Yeah, that's literally the perfect opportunity. I'd be surprised if he doesn't.
I mean, he says he doesn't want to, but Eli wants to.
What if his wife takes over though?
Yeah, wait, what was the question? What would if?
Do you think
Sadeas will do anything?
Yeah, is Sadeas going to do anything?
No. No. He's a weak-willed individual, letting his wife determine his every move.
He doesn't though. That's the problem. His wife knows better.
Also, do you think Shallan will be able to find the Oathgate and open it with the help of Navani and her scholars and with Rlain?
No. Navani's evil. I've been saying that since day one.
I see.
You think Navani's evil?
Yeah.
So you don't think she'll be able to find the Oathgate?
I think they're gonna find the Oathgate. That's for sure. But
do you think Rlain's gonna recognize where the Oathgate is? When she's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be this this sort of thing in this sort of area, and Rlain's gonna be like, oh, I know exactly where that is.
Who's gonna say that?
I said, maybe Rlain will just be like, oh, I know exactly where this thing is. Because he apparently lived there for a bit.
Yeah.
Also, do you think Elhokar will die?
Nah,
Was
I
Elhokar
think
again?
he's good.
The king.
The king.
Oh, no, I don't think he's dying. No, I think he's gonna get protected.
Alright.
What? What's the kid's name that joined fucking Bridge 4? The
Renarin?
Renarin?
Renarin. That's the why. Every time you say Elhokar, that's what I think of.
No, Renarin's just been hanging out with Bridge 4 currently. My final...
Is he on this mission?
Yeah, he apparently they said that Kaladin says he saw him with the Bridge 4 guys when they headed out, and I think also Dalinar mentions that Renarin was with some Ardents at one point, like with not some Ardents, I think he was with some scholars or something at one point. He mentions him briefly, being like, "Oh yeah, Renarin's in this other tent over there."
That man needs his own book too.
My final overview question is: do you think we'll see Zeth show up before the end of the book? Do you think he'll come to try and kill Dalinar again before the end of the
Yes.
book?
Wait, before the end of the book?
Yeah. Because we know he's gone back off now to kill Dalinar, try and kill Dalinar again.
Once he shows outside out there where they're at right now, I don't think so.
Hmm.
So
Do you think it might be like next book he shows up?
yeah, maybe. Definitely think he's gonna kill the one dude though. Mr. I'm smart and then I'm not smart.
Oh,
Yeah, he's gonna
Taranger?
kill
You
him.
think he's gonna kill Taranger?
Oh yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
he's definitely gonna kill him. I know it. There's no doubt in my mind he kills that man.
Alright, do you guys have any other thoughts and theories before we end?
I have lots of theories. We cannot sit here and listen to all my theories this entire
Okay.
time, or we'd be here for hours.
Okay.
Why not? I think we should.
I think. No, what? You know what I think we should do?
What?
I should record myself with all my theories, and then we'll put it on the Patreon.
We could. If you wanted to do that sometime, I could do that.
Yeah, we can totally do that.
Okay.
That way, then I can give all the theories I have, and then when they become true, we can go back to the Patreon and be like, look, see?
On that reminder, thank you so much to Hubris on the Patreon for being our one paid Patreon member. We really appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
It's like you say thank you too.
Didn't we
Hubris.
thank them last time?
We must thank them every episode.
Right.
Okay. I'm sorry. No
And then
no disrespect to people paying for the Patreon. Okay, if I have to literally every time thank you specifically, we are gonna have hopefully my headcanon. Hopefully we have lots of you guys who decide to start paying for the Patreon or putting money in on the Patreon. And I'm not gonna be able to remember all your names.
I will remember them
No,
all.
like, can
It's
you
fine.
imagine
I will
the-
read them all out.
And at some point we'll have to go through a list of you guys. Honestly, I feel like I'm just having to have the conversation with Midnight here. We need to just have credits. That
Can you imagine?
every Patreon that joins gets put in the credits because
That'd be no, but like saying all of them,
Damn.
that'd be great. Just a half hour of saying names.
I can do that. I will do a half hour of names if I need to.
oh my god.
But yeah, so next episode we are reading chapters 80 to 84.
Yeah. Well, apparently I already read 80. I guess.
So
Alright.
yeah, so thank you guys all so much for listening. We really appreciate you, and we'll hope to have you back listening again next week. Bye.
Bye.